What's up, Rams fans? Welcome back to Ram Showcase. Tonight, Aaron Donald is the subject of negative headlines for the first time in his career. Plus, mock drafts are in. Which ones actually make sense? And later, the Rams weren't the only team in on Matthew Stafford. We'll talk about it next on Ram Showcase.
Welcome to Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio.
What's going on, Rams fans? Welcome back to Ram Showcase right here on Sports War Radio. I'm your host, Joe Brandon Butchkin, and should call me Sheriff Joe Bags, and I am laying down the law for you guys tonight. A lot of stuff to get into, some news that's not as dope as we normally cover here. It's unfortunate. We'll talk about Aaron Donald, of course, and then we are talking mock drafts. We've got some of the bigger name mock drafts that we'll talk about today. I'm going to give you guys my quick mock draft, which is actually just a position mock draft because I'm terrible at the real ones, like everybody else. So we got the position one for you. Joe Stradamus returns. Jeff Fisher's back into coaching. And I talked about the Rams were not the only team in on Matthew Stafford. So we'll talk about that as well. So pretty loaded show for you guys. And then, of course, Fan Quesos here on the back end. But I think ultimately, guys, there's no way I can get around this one. We have to talk about Aaron Donald. All right, so Aaron Donald, today, it was released that over the weekend had an issue. I actually don't know exactly where this was at, but I did have an issue with a gentleman, and reports are saying that charges of assault are going to be placed or being filed. I think actually the last report that I saw said that the reports are being filed for assault against Aaron Donald. So that's unfortunate news that has come out. And the story is, it's very difficult to track this story because there's a lot of reports coming out, and a lot of those reports actually contradict each other. So to let you guys know, well, first we'll start with this. The Rams did release a statement. The official team did release a statement on this. It's not really anything super noteworthy, though, but the statement is just this. It is, we are aware of the reports regarding Aaron Donald. We are collecting more information and will have no further comment at this time. That's exactly what you would expect in a situation like this. I need to kind of echo that just a little bit for myself. Being a Rams podcaster does not mean that I have, Aaron Donald's personal cell phone number and that we've been in communication about this. So it's unfortunate that this is happening. If this is something that's going to impact him long term, we'll kind of see how that unfolds. But as far as these reports go, I don't have enough information to form a legitimate opinion just quite yet. So obviously this is not something that we want to see happening for any of our favorite teams' players. So we don't want to see any LA Rams players in headlines that are negative like this. That's not what we want at all. And for that to be a guy like Aaron Donald, who has had zero issues in his entire career, that's something that I think that some of us, I know myself is included. It's like, he didn't do that, you know what I mean? So I don't actually know though. So we'll see what happens as far as these reports go. But like right now, I want to keep my own personal opinion very limited based on the lack of information that we do have available. We've seen multiple different reports come out, different articles and everything. Some of them kind of contradict each other. So to give you guys the basic story, as far as I understand it, is that there was a gentleman at I believe, a nightclub situation, and there's some reports that say that he just accidentally bumped into Aaron Donald, and then Donald just lost it on him, and a bunch of people jumped this guy basically. Hey, that's one of the reports. I'm not going to say it's not true. I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened, but there's also reports saying that this gentleman had been kind of harassing Donald for a while, for a couple hours leading up, and because was making some comments and grabbing some things of Donald, stuff like that, some things I guess on the table or something. That I don't know how true that is either. And then eventually, I guess that report said that eventually the comments and stuff got a little too much, and guy wouldn't stop. So it's unfortunate that this is something that we do have to talk about. But right now, like I said, not all the reports are adding up, and reports are contradicting each other. So I would say for anybody, whatever side you're on, whether you're super backing Aaron Donald or whether you're like, Aaron Donald, what have you done? Get out of here. whatever side you're on, because I have seen both sides already from Rams fans, is I'm just going to let you know, just maybe pump the brakes just a little bit. All right, let's wait until the whole story comes out, because there are a couple of issues that I have with this story already that are not necessarily adding up to me myself. And to let you guys know what that is the fact that there's reports of him being jumped by multiple people, but Aaron Donald's the only one being targeted. So that would tell me money grab, but hey, I'm not here to say that that's exactly what it is. I have no idea what happened. Again, I have no idea what happened. I was not there. I'm waiting for more information to come out. But in that respect, that's what it would kind of sound like to me. But also, the report saying that he just like bumped into Aaron Donald and Donald kind of like lost it on him and went after him. That I don't know Aaron Donald personally. I've never hung out with him, but based on the information that we have as Rams fans, we've seen this guy back all the way to St. Louis. That we've seen him, interact with the press, anything like that. That seems a little bit weird to me. It doesn't really seem that would seem out of character for Aaron Donald. So again, guys, I'm waiting for more information to come out about this as it goes on. This is something that we'll kind of be tracking, but this is not going to be something that I want to cover too heavy. As far as Rams Showcase goes, I know that we are a Rams show and we like to cover Rams players and staff and everything like that. We try to keep it as football related as possible, and I know that this is something that we can't ignore. We can't just blow it off and just pretend like it didn't happen. But we will try to keep things as football related as possible. So, especially as far as this situation goes as well, I'm in no place to have an opinion about this. It doesn't include me. It doesn't involve me. I'm not, going to go testify or anything like that. It has nothing to do with me, myself personally. So I'll kind of remove myself in that respect. But as far as this goes, I will always try to relate it to how it will impact the actual Rams on the field. And for this, right now, I would say that the impact that we could be looking at would be as far as a possible suspension, although I do not expect that to happen. With what we've seen in the league before with other players, I would say a suspension is unlikely, also considering Aaron Donald's history or lack of history as far as any kind of off-field issues go. So this is something we will be keeping an eye on, but we want to keep it as football-related as possible, and I know that he is a football player, so it will always be semi-football related, but we like to talk about the impacts on the field as much as we possibly can. Let's talk about some other news real fast before we get into these mock drafts. Let's talk about, we'll go with Jeff Fisher. All right, so Jeff Fisher is back into coaching. This is actually the first time that he's been back, that he's going to be coaching again or involved in coaching since the Rams fired him, which is actually something we were able to watch on All or Nothing on HBO, which was really exciting. For multiple reasons. I'll be honest with you guys. All right. So I was not sad to see Jeff Fisher be fired. I didn't want him in the first place. I was really upset. I was one of those where when the Rams hired him in St. Louis, I was like, this is just to get us through a relo, right? Like he's seen a relocation. Like that's what this is, right? And then he didn't even make it the full first year back in LA. So I don't know if I'm actually right, but that bit of information kind of defends that of like we're not playing super well. I know we started 3-1 that season, but then just fell off a cliff and only won one other game the rest of that year, and that was a 9-6 win over the Jets. So I don't know, but either way, Jeff Fisher, he is back coaching, and he will actually be with Tennessee State University, coaching under Eddie George, who he coached with the Tennessee Titans. So I think that's really cool. Actually, that's kind of an interesting way that unfolds. I actually this prompted me to go back and rewatch the highlights of that Super Bowl against the Titans, where it was kind of just interesting. It was like, man, this guy is coaching under this guy now, and of course McNair. That's always going to be one of those stories too. It's like, oh man, kind of a bummer, but. Either way, Jeff Fisher he's actually going to be serving as an advisor. So he's not going to be like a defensive coordinator. Actually, the defensive coordinator is his son, Brandon Fisher, who used to be a Rams coach as well. He's the one that you can see on the Music City Miracle when you guys know the play. Lorenzo Neal tosses it to Dude, and that's what sends them to the Super Bowl to play against the Rams eventually. And so in that though, you can see somebody like he's like wearing a beanie and he's like jumping up and down on the sidelines. He's running down the field and he's going crazy. He's way out of where he needed to be, and in fact, he could have been fined for where he was at. But that's Brandon Fisher. So that's like the one thing that I always remember Brandon Fisher for. But he will serve as the defensive coordinator. Jeff Fisher, though, back into coaching after years away, was fired back, what was it, the 2016 season. It was going into week 15. And yeah, he was fired, and the rest is history. Now we got Sean McVay, and things are going okay. I think things are going all right as far as the Sean McVay transition goes. It's still working out. All right, let's take a look at these mock drafts. All right, so mock drafts are something that I hate. I'll just be honest with you guys. I don't like mock drafts. I think they're pointless. I think they're time wasters. But you know what? They give us a little bit of insight. They give us insight onto a couple of different things, because there's some names, especially when you get. We only have one really big name here. I tried to go with more. I don't want to say lesser known. I don't want to like bash anybody, but like lower level guys sometimes, and seeing what they think. Because what is interesting about mock drafts, and especially when you get guys like Peter Schrager from NFL Network. What he does is he talks to teams. He talks to teams, and he'll put out a mock draft, and then he'll get calls and stuff from teams or from agents and stuff, and be like, hey, you're way off on this one, man. That's not happening. And then he'll kind of adjust his mock draft. So as a person who hates mock drafts are actually becoming a thing that can be very useful, depending on the person that you're getting that information from. Daniel Jeremiah is a very good one. Peter Schrager's a very good one. There are those names. I will say, I'll go ahead and blast it out there, that I don't think Todd McShay and Mel Kiper are as strong of follows as far as this situation goes. And that's like what they do. So that's unfortunate. But I do think that Daniel Jeremiah and the Peter Schrager are the stronger ones to follow. But it's just interesting how it gives us insight onto what they believe. Like, they're hearing things from scouts, they're hearing things from agents, they're hearing things from teams, and that's how they make their mock drafts. And that can be a very valuable thing. Unfortunately for the fans of the LA Rams like myself, and probably you as well, is that the Rams don't pick in the first round like ever. All right. So the most recent first round pick for the Rams was Jared Goff back in the 2016 season, the first pick back in LA for the Rams, and then don't have another one for a few more years. So we'll see what happens as far as moving and shaking, but I don't expect a first round pick, mainly because in the time that the Rams have not had a first round pick, they're going to the playoffs 75% of the time. That one season they did miss, it was they were the first team out, and still we're above 500. So we're looking okay there. Let's take a look at these mock drafts, though. All right, so we'll first open it by letting you guys know that the general consensus is that the Rams do need a center, the Rams do need cornerbacks, and linebackers. That's like the general consensus. I've also seen wide receiver be floated in there a lot. I tend to disagree with that one. With Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, and Van Jefferson, I'm not going to put that as a high need. I think that those four are guys that you can roll with basically the entire season, and then you only get like the Natsons and stuff like that every once in a while. So I don't think that wide receiver is that really big of a need for the LA Rams like some others. So let's take a look. We'll start with Todd McShay from ESPN. His pick for the Rams is linebacker Chaz Surratt out of North Carolina. So my notes on him, and to let you guys know, I do watch a little bit of film here and there, especially if it's a name-specific guy that I can go seek out and kind of check out his stuff. Not highlights. That's not the way to do it. You want to see just like games from a person. So if you type in like Chaz Surratt versus whatever, then I'm sure it'll give you options on YouTube, and then you can watch them that way. So you can also see the negative plays. We don't want just highlights. We don't want them just blowing up blockers and lighting people up, recovering fumbles, scoring touchdowns and stuff. We also want to see, what is he bad at? What does he need to improve at? So these are my notes on these gentlemen as well. So good speed and instincts. Feels like he could be a day one starter or take over that role at some point during the season, opposite of Leonard Floyd. And the reason that I say that really is because we don't know what Ogbonnaya Okoronkwo is going to look like. We don't know what Terrell Lewis is going to look like. So Surratt coming in, he could be a guy that could kind of fill in that role and start rushing passers opposite of Leonard Floyd. Next up, we'll go to Luke Easterling's pick from the draft wire. He has the Rams taking offensive tackle James Hudson out of Cincinnati. Solid pick for the future. That would, if this was for the future, that would make sense. This pick would have little to no impact on the 2021 season. That's why I don't think that this really happens. I don't think he would really get any playing time behind Andrew Whitworth, Rob Havenstein, Joseph Noteboom, Bobby Evans on day one. I just don't see it happening. I think this would be a depth move, and for that reason, I think this is unlikely. I don't think that Hudson would be the pick for the Rams at 57. These are all 57 overall, by the way. Just the first pick for the Rams. Next one here comes from Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports. He has the Rams taking Aaron Banks, a guard out of Notre Dame. Another unlikely, another likely 2021 backup pick if this were to be the selection. The Rams already have other spots that they could address this year over offensive line, in my opinion. Even at the center position, I think that the Rams do have the ability to make moves there. If they don't like Coleman Shelton and they don't like Brian Allen, Austin Corbett is a guy that you can squeeze over there. Now with the departure of Austin Blythe, who is now a Kansas City Chief. But this pick in particular, I think that this would be another pick of the future kind of thing, a depth pick, a guy that you would have around for a few years and watch him develop on the bench, and then possibly see at some point getting him actually into the rotation. But I would see this as a very unlikely pick as well for the LA Rams specifically. Next one here from the Draft Network is Dre Harris's selection, offensive lineman Landon Dickerson out of Bama. So actually, this one's an interesting one. He transferred from FSU, went to Bama, played actually really well. So of the offensive linemen I've already named, Dickerson does feel the most prepared to actually overtake someone on the offensive line this season and actually maybe start. So if Austin Corbett goes to center, Dickerson slides in at guard. That would make total sense to me. This pick does make a lot of sense. I'm just not really convinced that he's still there at 57. I think that Landon Dickerson is off the board at this time. So for that reason, I would be surprised at this one. But if he is on the board, that would not surprise me to see the LA Rams take a swing at him. Next one here from the Draft Network as well, Brentley Weissman has the Rams taking linebacker Jamin Brown. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I do apologize if I am not. I am also not convinced that this gentleman will be here at the number 57 pick. There's reports saying that he's squeezing his way into a late first kind of pick. So 57, we may be way out of the ballpark on this one. He did have a strong day, and that is really capturing some attention. That's what got the conversations really started on Davis at the linebacker spot there. So seeing this, I don't see this as a super big possibility. But this is the same mock drafter that also has the Rams taking a tight end at 103, and I think that's extremely unlikely. Obviously, it always depends on the player. You don't only just draft for position, but a tight end at 103, I think that the Rams would be, I don't want to say wasting a pick, because again, it does depend on the player. But at this spot, with some of the guys that the Rams have, I don't know. I just don't see a tight end, so that kind of just plays into the fact that I don't think Davis will be there at 57, but I also don't see the Rams taking a tight end at all in this draft, especially just their third pick, which is at 103. This last one here comes from Vincent Frank from Sportsnot. He has the Rams taking wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC, so wouldn't have to move far. Frank calls St. Brown a need for the Rams at wide receiver, which is something I already said I disagree with. I'm not convinced that the Rams do need a wide receiver, that it's a need. That's the wording that I guess that's tripping me up is the team needs. The team doesn't need a wide receiver when you have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, and Van Jefferson on the roster. I don't think you need a wide receiver. Like, it's not like if the Rams don't get a wide receiver and address that position specifically in the draft, it's like, oh, well, it sounds like they're going to the playoffs. They're not Super Bowl bound because they didn't get a wide receiver. It doesn't make any sense to me. So to me, that's kind of what need is it if you don't get this position addressed, your team's not very good. You have a hole in your team, and that's not how the Rams are at the wide receiver spot. I just named those four a couple of times. Even if you just take those top three, Woods, Kupp, and Jackson, because, Jefferson, in fairness, is still unproven. We don't actually know what he brings to the table at full capacity, so for that reason, I'm not saying need. His skill set, though, does seem to fit with what the Rams want to do, but I would hardly classify wide receiver as a need. And to go with the first pick at wide receiver, that would actually surprise me. I know it's 57, and at that point, you're kind of at mercy to what the 56 picks before you were and who you wanted, so you have to have the Rams are probably entering this pick or entering the draft with 60 guys that they want at 57, and then they're going to pick from the guys there. Obviously the list, it's not going to be that big. There's not 60 guys that you're like, if he's there, we want him, either way, unless Trevor Lawrence falls to 57, then what do you do? All right, let's go into my own personal mock here. And this does address some of the needs that we've already talked about, and also there's one luxury pick in here. You guys will get that as well. So nothing too wild here. These are just my positional mock. And actually, this is an idea I got actually from the comment section. A video. Probably like a month and a half ago or something like that. Somebody had commented and asked if I could do a position mock. So this is actually for you. I don't remember who you were. But this is telling you also, I do read the comments. I do see what you guys are saying. Sometimes I don't reply. I'm a terrible replier. If you guys know anybody who has my number and tries to message me or anything like that, I'm awful at responding to people. I'm trying to get better. We're working on it. But either way, I do read your comments, and this is stolen straight from the comments. So thank you to whoever suggested that I do a position mock, because I hate mock drafts. Either way, all right. So at 57, I have the Rams going with the linebacker position. This is a pretty strong linebacker class, especially when you're looking at this gap, that 57 gap, where we're in the second round. The second to fourth round linebacker spots actually look pretty good. There could be a decent chunk of linebackers picked in that realm right there. Next at 88, I have the Rams going offensive line, potentially center. I think that is something that the Rams do address at a decent time in the draft. Early enough, 88 makes total sense to me. Next up, I have the Rams at 103 going with a cornerback. And the reason that I think the Rams do take a corner in this draft decently high, 103 is not super high, but it's high enough that I think that the Rams could address that there, because, with Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams, the depth does fall off after that. We still don't actually know what David Long brings to the table, so, and he's kind of penciled in right now as CB3 for that slot spot. So, I'm not completely sold on him yet, just because we really haven't seen him. So I don't think that shouldn't blow anybody's mind saying that I don't know about David Long yet, because who does? The coaches, they see him way more than we do. 141, I do have the Rams going wide receiver at this spot. I think that this is the spot here where I think that schematically there will probably be people that we really like, that we think will fit in really well with us, and that's where I think that gets addressed. 209, I do have the Rams going back to the offensive line. I think this is somewhere that the Rams are going to want some depth at, and also to kind of be able to evaluate for the future. So, Havenstein is one of the last remaining St. Louis Rams. He is a little expensive, so I do think the Rams could move on from him at some point. Whitworth, at some point he's got to retire, right? He's 85 now, so he's getting real close, and this will probably be his last year. And now that we bumped up the games per year, that's just going to be more wear and tear on his old body. So for that reason, I think that the Rams do bring in some depth to be able to evaluate those guys. The loss of Aaron Cromer, it does hurt there as well. So I think that numbers are going to be a benefit to the Rams this offseason, especially when the evaluations come in. And at 252, I have the Rams going back to the linebacker spot. But honestly, it's 252. This is like a candidate to be cut. All right. I think that's totally reasonable. We'll get into a quick Joe Stradamus, and then on the other side, we will talk, we'll just quickly about Stafford, and then Fan Quesos. Spoiler alert, they're mostly about Aaron Donald, guys. So if you guys are all full up on your Aaron Donald content, then maybe you don't need the Quesos. But if you guys want to hear about some, I don't know if I'll really get into opinions. I don't necessarily have any right now, but you have some more questions about Aaron Donald. We'll get into that after this as well. But my quick Joe Stradamus one is based on my positional picks here. Is that I think that the Rams end up with more like 8 picks. I think that the Rams do some trading back, a little moving, a little shaking, and I think that one of their first 2 picks is actually one that they drop out of. So 57 or 88 is where I have the Rams dropping out of. There's very strong value to be had in late rounds. In late rounds, and especially the Rams specifically, I know we did lose Brad Holmes, now GM of the Detroit Lions, was formerly the director of college scouting for the Rams and was with the Rams since 2003. So, that hurts, and he was a very talented mind. That's why he got the job as a GM in the NFL. There's only 32 of those jobs in the whole universe, and he's got one of them. That shows you something. That guy's... he knows what he's doing. So, but these are just some names. These are 4 and on of some guys who have been impactful since, these are, we don't go back that far. What is this, 2017? So, so, we don't go back too crazy, or 2016 maybe. But these are like fourth round and on of guys who have actually been pretty strong contributors for the Rams. Maybe not like superstars or anything, but the list is Josh Reynolds, Samson Ebukam, Micah Kaiser, Obaniah Okoronkwo, Sebastian Joseph Day, David Edwards, Bryson Hopkins, and Jordan Fuller. Those are all guys who have been late round picks very recently. Like since the return to LA, these are like late round, 4th and on guys who have had an impact. So I don't think that moving out of 57 or 88 would hinder this team at all. I think that this team is very strong as far as the drafting goes, and that's one of the reasons why we've had strong classes sans a 1 over or like a first round pick. So I think it's beneficial to us. All right, on the other side of this, we got Fan Quesos. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back in. So my quick note here on Matthew Stafford, by the way, guys, is the fact that I just wanted to revisit this again because I know not every Rams fan was thrilled about what the Rams gave up. Jared Goff and 2 ones for Matthew Stafford. And I realize that not everybody loved that. I didn't hate it because I like Goff, but I think Stafford's a better player. By how much? I don't know. We will find out this season, but I wanted it known that there were other teams in on Matthew Stafford. We know for a fact the Carolina Panthers and Denver Broncos, we know those for sure. The Denver Broncos actually offered the 9th overall pick. We don't know what exactly, at least I didn't hear exactly what the Carolina Panthers offered as far as their top 10 selection. But we do know that 9 overall was offered by the Denver Broncos. Of course, that's not what happened, and the Rams didn't give up a 1 this year, so Detroit basically said, like, oh, your top 10 pick this year? Nah. We'll take picks in the 20s from the Rams over the next 2 years. So I don't know what the mindset was there. I don't think that those picks are going to be super high. I doubt that they're up to 9 at any point. So for that reason, it surprises me just a touch that maybe they wouldn't take that. But at the same time, this also explains why that price got driven up a little bit. You don't just send Goff in 2 ones. Like, this is not what happened, okay? It's not that Les Snead called Brad Holmes, and Brad answers the phone. He's like, hey, what's up, Les? What's going on, man? And Les is like, Goff in 2 ones. And he's like, yeah, okay. That's probably not what happened, guys, okay? We probably had to bid that up a little bit. You probably started with just Goff in like a 3, something like that, and then it's like, well, Denver's offering a 1. It's like, all right, we'll give you 2 ones. I know that there's this 9, but we'll give you 2 of them. And like, okay, fine. I'm sure that's somewhat how it went. It's probably exactly how it went, guys. Exactly. Verbatim. All right, let's get into our Fan Quesos here. These first couple here come from David, and then we got $1 billion on Aaron Donald, which I'm not thrilled about, but we'll answer them, okay? And yes, we'll get them. We'll be good. All right. So this one here, what am I doing? All right. So this is first couple here from David. First one here is, would you rather have a prime Todd Gurley back on our squad with Stafford and everyone else on the offense, or Corey Littleton, Mark Barron, and John Johnson back on our squad? Dude, that's not even hard. Give me Littleton, give me Barron, give me Johnson back. Gurley, every single NFL team has 2 running backs who can handle the load. Running backs are everywhere. That's why they're not getting paid, because they're everywhere. You have to be very special as a running back to get a big payday these days. We did it with Todd Gurley, and he fell off like immediately. Like his knee He got paid. His knee just quit. It was just done. And so I think that's an easy one. Give me Littleton. Give me Barron. Give me Johnson back. That improves the defense a lot in my mind, especially those linebackers. Johnson's going to hurt. It's just that's all it is it's going to hurt. And having a running back, I mean, Cam Akers today is doing fine. Compared to a prime Todd Gurley, which I'll give you is better, I would still take the Defenders over that. Next one here from David. Would you rather win 3 Super Bowls in the next 6 years or have a 2-15 record for 25 years straight and then win 6 Super Bowls after that 25 years? Not saying you will leave the Rams fan base, because we are the true Rams fans. That is absolutely true. And this is the worst answer ever. I will still answer your question, but my real answer is I don't care. Because winning is way more fun, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm still going to be a Rams fan. 2-15 for the next 25 years. I'll still be sitting here doing a Rams showcase, talking about how cool this team is, rocking my Sheriff Joe Bags jerseys and stuff. That's just what's going to happen. But if I had the option, and there's nothing after this of that we'll win 3 Super Bowls in the next 6 years and then not win more than 6 games for the next 15 or whatever. That's not in here. So obviously I'm going 3 Super Bowls next 6 years. Give me that all day. I don't need 6 straight. Just give me 3. Just 3 Super Bowls. That's all. And I mean, who knows if that's because your information here also doesn't tell me if the Rams are getting to the Super Bowl. So if we played in, say, 6 straight but won 3, I'd take that as well all day. All of the day. Let's see here. Let's get to our other fan quesos. Like I said, most of these are about Aaron Donald, so because we already talked about it, we won't get too crazy into these. But first one here from Cody. Tell us as much about the Aaron Donald situation as you know. About the Aaron Donald situation, the most that I know that I can say is 100% fact is that there is a gentleman that has filed assault charges on Rams defensive lineman Aaron Donald. That's all the information I have. I'm confused as to why we have not seen news about an arrest. I am confused as to why other people are not being included in those charges. I am confused at what actually started this situation to lead to said gentleman being assaulted. I don't know. That is what I will say, though, and that is the facts that there are being assault charges filed on Aaron Donald. That's the facts that we know. Next one here from Cody. What do you think his potential suspension could look like? I actually don't anticipate a suspension from this. There's a couple of reasons why, and whether or not it's right or wrong, his history or lack of history for off-the-field incidents or issues at all, that does play into this. I mean, he's been in the league for a long time, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and has not ever had any issues off the field. Not even close. Not even where it's Aaron Donald was pulled over for speeding, or we don't hear anything from Aaron Donald. All we ever see from him is him working out. That's all he's doing ever. So that does play in. And also, if you look at historically, people who have been in situations like this typically don't tend to serve a suspension. And I'll also say this, and without actually forming an opinion yet, I will say that the fact that day one there are conflicting reports, that tells me that eventually something will probably happen where we're it feels like we're going to hear the real story and be like, oh, so it's fine then. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know that for sure. I'm sure that could be wrong, and maybe Aaron Donald just goes to jail or something. I have no idea. But the way that the reports are conflicting, I think everything's going to be fine. I'll be honest with you guys. I think that this will all kind of just blow over. I don't know. I don't know if that makes me a jerk. I don't know. I feel like this is going to blow over though, and in some time, by the time the season starts, I don't think this is going to be something that we're having a conversation about. Next one here is from Paul. Speaking of Aaron Donald, who is the one player you'd want to avoid in a fight not named Aaron Donald? So yeah, AD way up there for sure. But I'm going to go with Ndamukong Suh, man. Suh for sure, because that guy doesn't play clean, all right? He's dirty, all right? We already know that. We know we're like once you're on the ground, you're just gonna get stomped on. All right, and next year, Cody again. All right, Joe, you survive one round in the cage with any Rams player not on special teams. Prize is $1 million. Who you picking? I'm gonna go John Wolford. I'm not a fighter though, man. Look at me. Do I look like I do this? Like I'm not out here like running cage matches or like I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that even the right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happens. I'm not a fighter. I don't know what the heck goes on there. Cody, chances Russell Wilson paid somebody to fight Aaron Donald? Probably 100%. Next one here from Cody. Does this put Donald at the top of the list for the next longest yard movie? No. 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 He's going to be fine. I do really believe that. And the reason that I believe that is conflicting reports. When you have one report that says that he was messing with Donald, he was talking trash to him, he took his bottle off his table and stuff like that. And then you have another one where it's accidentally bumped into him and then just got the crap beat out of him by Aaron Donald. Those are two very different situations. And for that reason, I think that we kind of, like, it's all going to be hearsay kind of thing. And for that reason, I think this goes away. I don't know. Out of all the Rams that left, who will we miss the most? Probably Marshall Faulk. I was kidding, man. I tried to go back. Anyway, for the exits this year, I think Austin Blythe is actually going to be a pretty big impact as far as an exiter of this year. But John Johnson's a big one as well. I think that we'll feel that one a little bit. But hey, I also like Fuller and Burgess back there at safety, holding it down. So the center position with Blythe leaving, I think that hurts. Hey, I mean, you didn't say negative impact. Well, I said miss the most. Never mind. I was gonna say Goff. That I like. We'll notice a difference in the fact that Goff's not here anymore. These next few come from Lance. I'm gonna read this to you guys because somebody will think this is funny. So yeah, we'll start. We'll just read off Lance's questions first. Y'all think Aaron Donald threw less than 10 or more than 10 punches? What did that dude do to piss off Aaron Donald? Will you personally investigate this incident? Will the sheriff put Donald on suspension? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Thank you for that, Lance. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I get the reference. So let's knock these out. So y'all think Aaron Donald threw less than 10 or more than 10 punches? Less. That guy had one black eye. If he threw more than 10 punches, that guy would no longer be here to tell the story. What did that dude do to piss off Aaron Donald? I'm guessing he actually was talking trash, all right? People get into clubs, people start drinking, people start saying stupid things. I think that's what happened. But I wasn't there, so I actually don't know. Maybe Aaron Donald was the one in the club drinking, saying stupid things. You know what I mean? Will you personally investigate this incident? No, it has very little to do with what happens on the football field, which is what I am the most concerned about, Lance. And will a sheriff put Donald on suspension? Absolutely not. In fact, if I still had my Aaron Donald jersey, I gave it away to a buddy. If I still had it, I'd maybe be wearing that just to be just a little bit of a jerk. Let's see. I asked for non-AD questions and was how well will Stafford mesh with the team? I think he's going to be perfect, dude. I think he's going to be perfect for this team. I really do think that. And then, of course, the follow-up on my comment of non-AD questions was Aaron Donald's favorite food. I don't know, man. Queso. Aaron Donald's favorite brand of cleats. Probably Nike. Probably. I don't. Next comment. We only want to talk about Aaron Donald. I don't only want to talk about Aaron Donald. I love talking about Aaron Donald, but usually for cool things, not for this. Dylan asks, what scares you so bad about dem Eagles? Dude, come on, man. Nothing scares me about the Eagles right now. They're not a scary team. The Eagles they didn't do anything that makes me be like, oh man. And you know what? Honestly, roster-wise, they're fine. Their roster doesn't, I don't look at their roster and laugh or anything like that. It's the coaching change. Very surprised at that. Not losing Peterson necessarily, although that doesn't totally check out to me. The guy they brought in, very surprising. Very surprising. It basically, without just bashing dude, because I actually don't know how he will do as a coach. None of us do. But that hiring to me basically said to the world, all right, we're going to take a couple years off. And this is not intended to just be a joke or a shot or anything. But that's really how it felt to me, is that they were back, all right, we're going to take a couple years back. We're going to kind of reassess everything, see what comes in the draft, and then kind of build around that later on. Because they're not sold on Hurts. They got rid of Wentz. They're clearly not sold on Hurts. And we would know if they were sold on Hurts because they would have just come out by now and been like, no, Hurts is our guy. But they might take a quarterback in the first round. Maybe do high voice, Dylan. All right. And the last one here from Cole. What quarterback will San Francisco take so AD99 can legally assault him? That's not very classy, Cole. All right. So what quarterback will they take? Dude, I'm still not convinced that they will not go with Trey Lance. That's my pick for them. That's been my mock for them is Jags take Lawrence, Jets take Wilson, and then Niners take Trey Lance. That just makes sense to me. But there's a lot of people very convinced that they go Mac Jones. If they take Mac Jones, I'm going to just put this out here right now. If they take Mac Jones, I'm going to lean in a little bit. If they take Mac Jones, he will do good for 2.5 years. And then we're going to see him fall off. That's just how that's going to go. That is who Mac Jones is. And if he were to go to the Jets, he would fall off day one. But if he goes to the 49ers, that's such a good situation for any of these quarterbacks that this year and next year probably look okay. After that, though, once, Williams leaves, George Kittle's done, the league kind of understands Shanahan a little bit more in that offense. The defense may not be as good, losing Salah. So I think that they're going to fall Mac Jones, if that's who they go with, because there are guys in this class that I think that could extend that period of time. If they take Trey Lance, I don't think he plays year one at all. I think it's Jimmy G all day, and then for 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6 years, that I think that he would do fine. But Mac Jones specifically, I think that he's gonna start strong and he's gonna fall off hard. It's like looking back on Andrew Luck and RG3, where you're looking at rookie year, people are really seeing RG3 might be better than Andrew Luck, but we can now look back on that and be oh, that's not true at all. So I think it'll be one of those situations where after this season, because I'm not into Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones is going to do a bad job. He was never down in the second half in his entire Bama career. He's got straight up studs all over the place as far as his targets and who he's throwing the football to, and protection for days. He was never under stress. So, put Mac Jones there with Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd rushing him. Let's see how much time he's got, all right, and where he's got one good receiver and George Kittle. I just don't see it, guys. I'm not feeling it, but those comments are the kind of comments that get people to say stuff to me. And 1 year from today, people are going to be like, you were wrong about Mac Jones. Kid looks awesome. Kid looks awesome. Kid looks awesome. Maybe Wilson's not doing crap. Lawrence, maybe he only looks okay, but Mac Jones, man, he looks like the best quarterback of this draft. He might after this first year, because those other guys are playing for the Jags and the Jets. This guy's playing for the 49ers, who have a good roster and a good coaching staff. So I don't know. I think that bring this up to me in 5 years. All right. Well, let's talk about who's having the better career at that point. That's going to do it for our Fan Quesos, though. If you guys have not asked a question before, feel free to drop them wherever you guys are hearing me. If I do not get them, that means I did not see them. I do see my comments and all that stuff, so make sure you guys drop them there. You can send messages at Ram Showcase on Twitter. I don't need to be following you for you to actually be able to send messages there. Ram Showcase Facebook page is a good place. You can add me as a friend. My name is Joe Branham. I'm very readily available. I have no secrets. I'm not trying to hide from anybody or anything. If you guys want to be my friend, That's cool. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Drop your quesos, and next episode I'll answer them on the show. And I don't know what I'll be wearing next week. I never know until I'm like just putting it on. Either way. But that is going to do it for me. Make sure you guys follow Ram Showcase on all your favorite social media. That would be at Ram Showcase on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Ram Showcase. You can follow myself as well at Sheriff Joe Bags on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags. Try to make it as simple as I can for you guys because you guys are the best and I need you guys there. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, dislike the video, whatever you guys prefer. Doesn't matter to me either way. But yeah, that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you that are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night.